Hi friends, Laurelei Black from Blade Broom, and this week we're going to talk about 10 herbs for every witch. Let's dive in and get to know these plant allies as magical allies in addition to being medicinal allies. This is a disclaimer for all of my viewers to say that while I am a certified master herbalist, the advice that I am giving you is not to replace trained medical advice from your medical practitioner. So please do not take what you hear on a YouTube video from me or anybody else as medical advice. Plant number 6 is mugwort, and it's the first one that I'm going to give you a warning on. So first I'm going to tell you that mugwort's Latin name is Artemisia vulgaris, meaning that it's sort of common Artemisia. And mugwort's brother is wormwood. And mugwort and wormwood are both fantastic witch herbs, just stellar lunar witch herbs, right? Like they're just fantastic witch herbs. But they have an effect on your liver over time, and really in high doses. So you don't want to use them a lot in terms of ingesting them in high doses. If you're using them a little bit and you're not pregnant or breastfeeding, you're going to be okay. It's not anything that you should worry about. But if you're using them a whole lot to achieve more altered states, you're going to run into some trouble because they're going to give you the symptoms of poisoning. So don't do that. Just don't. And if you're pregnant or nursing, stay away from them. You can grow them for sure. You can handle them. That'd be okay. But don't be ingesting them because you're going to have trouble. They're not necessarily toxic in and of themselves, but they are going to build up in your liver over time. And they're going to give you some symptoms that you're not going to be happy about. Mugwort is not a tasty herb, I will tell you that. Everything else that we've talked about, I actually really love the taste of, depending on how much you like herbs straight. Like I don't put honey in pretty much anything unless I just want some honey. But you know, I'm a kind of a straight no chaser herb person. I'm actually that way with bourbon too, but that's a different discussion. Mugwort, I don't do that with. I am going to have my mugwort steeped in wine and with honey in it because it's so very bitter. So, but mugwort is so good as a psychic opener. It is just amazing in terms of helping you with that kind of work. It is the foundational element in the Sabbat wine that I make and that I have, and in the flying ointment that I have made for Blade Broom for years. It is the go-to piece in the formulas that my coven has used for 20, 25 years. So in the covens that I have worked with, I cannot sing mugwort's praises enough for opening you up. And it takes 1 teaspoon steeped in 1 cup of warm wine, you know, to achieve this effect for one person. So mugwort, it's so good, but it's bitter. So it does its job. And she's brilliant. She's brilliant at her job. So you should get to know mugwort. You should grow some mugwort in your garden if you have space for doing that. And she's going to be this big, bushy, beautiful, wild Artemis type plant, you know. You're going to absolutely see where she gets her name, you know, that it's Artemis's bush. Oh, that sounds wrong. Medicinally, mugwort can be used to help regulate the menstrual cycle. It's very effective at that. And like most bitters, it's actually really, really effective at stimulating digestion and proper digestion. It can stimulate the appetite and it can help with proper digestion. So that's something that Western culture's not really adopted very well. And our digestion, I would say, suffers from our lack of embracing all of the flavors. We're not so good at that, but and it probably shows in our poor digestive habits. You can also use mugwort in sachets and in by stuffing it, making dream pillows and stuffing it under your bed, or just growing it next to your bed. You know, having it nearby if you are concerned about consuming it, in order to promote the astral projection and the flying out benefits. Okay, so herb number 7 is nettle. Nettle is Urtica dioica in Latin, and this is another one of those herbs that is considered a weed by most people, but it is a brilliant plant that that more of us should accept as a plant ally. It is one of my very favorites, and I always keep nettle on hand. Nettle is one that is safe to drink every single day. Like, honestly, there's so much good about nettle that I need to read it to you because I can't remember all of the good things. I can't just keep them all in my head. So it's diuretic, astringent, pectoral, anodyne, tonic, rubefacient, styptic, anthelmintic, nutritive, hermetic. It's hermetic. Anti-rheumatic, anti-allergenic, decongestant, expectorant, antispasmodic, antihistamine, antilythitic, herpetic, galactagogue, and an antihistamine. I mean, honestly, this herb is like your go-to everything herb. And it isn't a tea that I, when I'm on my game about making sure that I'm, you know, doing my full routine, it's in my daily tonic tea. So the tea that I drink every day has nettle and red raspberry leaf and rose hips in it. And that's what I drink every single day. So it strengthens the whole immune system, it reduces inflammation, and it promotes digestion. And the thing is, we have so much in our current culture and our current civilization that's increasing our inflammation, from our diets to pollution to the stress levels in our life are actually increasing inflammation, that we need things that we're ingesting that are reducing our inflammation. So nettle. And we think of things that are going to be stingy, like stinging nettle, as something that's going to increase inflammation. But it doesn't. By the time that we're using it and ingesting it, nettle has this anti-inflammatory effect. But you got to be respectful with nettle. So nettle stings. It has these little prickly spines underneath that have that stinging effect. So you have to approach nettle with respect. But then she gives you so much. And that's one of the lessons that she teaches us as a plant ally, that she teaches us to approach with respect. And then we're going to gain so much. So nettle was a sacred herb of the Saxons, and it is considered a sacred herb of many Native Americans as well here in the U.S. And so it's one of those plants that has a very blended history for a lot of people that are very interested in herbalism. Nettle has this very sort of universal appeal. And in terms of magic, nettle is used for protection because it does have that prickly sense to it. She's not taking any shit from anybody, right? And she is very protective. She's really good at sending negativity back to its sender. Nettle is used in spell breaking. Nettle is used in lust inducing. Nettle is definitely used in healing magic. So our 8th herb is peppermint, or Mentha peperita, and it is one of several mints that I probably could have chosen, but I chose peppermint because it is just sort of an overall very, very useful herb of the mints. It's considered one of those herbs that you almost have to have in your garden as a medicinal herb, especially in certain parts of the world. It's often referred to as the mint cure. And the reason is because in terms of medicinal use, mint can be used for almost everything involving the digestive system. It helps with just aiding in normal digestion. So just making that process work better. It helps with flatulence. It helps with vomiting and nausea because it actually helps to sort of numb the nerve endings in the stomach. So if you're having trouble with nausea, it calms that down by just numbing them so that you're not experiencing that nausea. It helps with morning sickness and it can help with like acid reflux and that type of thing. With intestinal issues, Crohn's disease, colitis. So really the entire digestive tract is aided by peppermint, which is why you find so many digestive aids, including chewing gum, being flavored as peppermint. It can also help with sinus issues. It helps clear up the sinuses. It helps speed along the process of recovering from colds and the flu. It helps with fevers. It helps reduce fevers. It helps with tension and anxiety. So it's another nervine that is assisting with those types of things. And it's actually an analgesic, so it helps topically with pain. And obviously internally with pain, but it's helping with the digestive system, where it's touching, it's helping with pain. So peppermint essential oil diluted in a carrier oil is another one of those things that can help with pain that you're having. For me, it's one of the ones that I keep in my sort of herbal first aid kit because it's something that I always want to have on hand. If you're a person that has just a stuffy nose all the time, a condition called nasal catarrh, you can inhale peppermint, either peppermint tea or peppermint essential oil, just to help sort of clear up that breathing passageway. That's a condition that's often associated with allergies and that type of thing. You might even know somebody that just sort of always sounds like they're stuffed up, like me right now. That's because I live in Louisville and we have the crud around here. So sniffing peppermint can help just sort of clear up those passageways. Now, in terms of magic, as you can guess, because it's such a healing herb for the physical body, it's also used in healing magic, widely used in healing magic. But it's also used in dream magic and for things like purification, consecration. And I think that's largely due to its healing associations, because it is such a powerful cleanser of space and the body. It's going to be used as a cleanser of tools and of energetics. It's also used in magic that has to do with dreams and sleep and rest. And then because of that, with psychic development. Herb number 9 is thyme, or Thymus vulgaris. So this is another one of the many herbs that I've mentioned that you can just go to your spice rack and pull out, because you probably have thyme on hand already if you're into cooking and have, an array of kitchen herbs. This is one of the more common kitchen herbs. The Greeks actually called thyme mother thyme because it is such a caring and giving plant friend, and it was seen as the plant that did the most heavy lifting, I guess, for taking care of the family, but in a very, very gentle way. So thyme is an analgesic, meaning again that it is a pain reliever, but it's also antibacterial, antifungal, antioxidant. It's antitussive, which means that it helps with coughs. It's antispasmodic, so anywhere that you're having that kind of muscle spasm in whatever type of muscle tissue that might be happening in, it's going to help with that. And it's unnerving, so it's going to help, again, stabilize nervous system reactions. Antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral, and that's a super powerful combination. It just really knocks out all kinds of stuff. It makes thyme one of the best herbs to use as a cough and cold remedy, and just as a go-to when folks are getting sick in the house and you're not really sure what is up. Thyme is great for cleaning with. Thyme is great for drinking as a tea. You can also put it in a pot, or put some thyme essential oil into a diffuser and let it waft throughout a sick room to help clear the air. Thyme tea is great for settling the stomach. It's great for UTI infections, relieving sore throats, relieving aches and pains. Thyme tea is just sort of great stuff. Thyme burned as an incense or as a smudge was the go-to of Greeks for their temples to purify the space, and it's still an excellent go-to herb for us for the same purpose. It's also excellent as something to include in purification baths and any kind of purification work that you want to do. Thyme is also used in psychic development and in dream work. So that same thyme tea that is great for healing so many ailments is also really good as a psychic development. Herb number 10 is Vervain. It is one of the traditionally witchier herbs. Its Latin name is Verbena officinale. So you've probably also heard this one called verbena, but it is also called Vervain. So you may have also heard this one referred to as Vervain, and it is, as you can guess, the sort of the staple piece in Vervain oil, which is a traditional hoodoo or voodoo formula. So combined with lemongrass, those are sort of the two pieces that you'll almost always find in Vervain oil. So that is Vervain. Vervain medicinally is another one of those herbs that just has a laundry list of medicinal uses that can be attributed to everything from reducing fevers to having, it's reputed to have anti-cancer effects, although I am not going to go on the record for that one. It's an antispasmodic, anti-astringent, nervine, so it helps, it affects the nerves and helps bring the nerves into a state of balance. And it's another one that has beneficial digestive effects. It's said to be most effective, or to have a big effect where depression is related to chronic illness. If you are a sufferer of chronic illness and there's a depression component involved, Vervain may be a great spirit ally, a great plant spirit ally for you to work with. So one of the other interesting names for Vervain is enchanter's plant. When you look at the ways that Vervain can be used, it is involved in a lot of formulas involving magic and personal success and doing magic to increase one's success and that type of thing. So there is almost no limit to the way that you can use Vervain to increase your good fortune and your success. It's also used for creativity, inspiration, preventing nightmares, protection, joy, transformation, and preserving youth. Okay guys, that was a lot of information. I hope that you found it useful and not overwhelming. If you're interested in learning more, I do have an entire Herbal Grimoire that covers all 10 of the herbs that we talked about today, plus about 140 others. It also covers an array of herbal topics, including how to work with different plant allies and how to make different kinds of herbal formulas. It includes a complete herbal formulary. It's about 350 pages long, and it's available in PDF and a hardbound copy. Share your thoughts on today's topics in the comments below. Check out all the links. Do all the things, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next Monday at noon. Bye, guys.